Hello everyone and welcome back to another book review. Today I am going to be reviewing volume 1 in a series that kind of stretched my comfort zone but I wound up enjoying nonetheless. That is Gannibal. This, as we can see, is a little bit on the spookier side, so we're going to talk about what happens in this book and what I thought about it. If you've read this series, as always, I would also love to hear your thoughts and opinions, so please put those in the comment section down below. So I saw this book, and as we can tell from the cover, we have some maybe various body parts, so I won't hold this on the screen all the time in case that disturbs you. And I could tell from the cover immediately that it was going to be a little bit on the spookier side, but at the time when I was in the library, I was in the mood for something a little spookier. It is rated ages 16 and up, so I knew it wasn't going to be horrifically violent because I figured it would have a higher rating if it was really, really messed up, but I wanted something a little spooky, and at the same time, I don't handle spooky very well, so I decided to give this a try. I decided that if it was too spooky for me, I could put it down, and it is quite thin. It isn't a massive commitment to get through, so I decided to check it out. The premise of this book, and I can show the back, is a police officer moves to a remote village. His name is Officer Agawa. He moves with his wife and his young daughter, who has gone selectively mute for some reason, at least that's my understanding. She has, or I don't know if she talks at all, actually. Maybe she's just gone completely mute. I don't know. She doesn't talk, but she has the ability and used to. So he's there, and he's moved in because the previous officer has disappeared. Now, the previous officer had run up some debts and maybe gotten into some fights with some local villagers when he disappeared, so it is possible that his disappearance was at his own hands as an attempt to kind of avoid some of his responsibilities, but Officer Agawa decides to take the position or gets moved there, and he's trying to integrate into the society or the little village life that is very different from where he is from. The village is immediately a little off-putting. The villagers seem to cling to a lot of old traditions, and there's this running question on whether or not the villagers are cannibals. Immediately within the first couple days or soon after getting there, a woman is killed by a bear. She's mauled in the forest, and the villagers decide they're going to go into the forest and kill the bear in retribution for who they call Granny being killed. And the police officer decides to take part. He does the investigation. He goes on the bear hunt. He winds up getting involved with that. But there's a lot of suspicious things that keep happening that seem to reinforce this idea that perhaps the individuals in this village practice cannibalism. At one point, there is a missing finger that turns up that does not belong to the grandma, so there's body parts showing up. We have another scene where the officer's young daughter has an interaction with a very strange man, and a lot of this seems to revolve around the Goto clan or the Goto family, which in my experience kind of lives out in the woods, or I say in my experience, my understanding of reading this kind of lives maybe on the edge of town, out in the woods, and they seem quite large and well connected, and they seem to have a lot of power and influence in this town. Another mother in the town tries to warn the wife about the Goto clan and tells them to avoid it, but the officer is trying to integrate, but also has a lot of suspicions because he starts to see things that connect to the previous officer. There's a mysterious message in their house indicating that they should get out when they can, and there also is footage from the last time the officer was seen where he's shouting at the Goto's security footage camera. So the officer is determined to investigate and figure out what's going on here, even though the signs continually point to maybe something creepy or off-putting or even cannibalism occurring in these mountains. But the family is kind of trapped in this little mountainous town trying to sort things out and maintain a good relationship while also being stuck with some rather interesting and perhaps unsavory characters. So that's about where the plot starts. It is volume 1, so I imagine as the series continues, there's going to be more plot. It is definitely a little bit spookier. You are going to see some dead bodies in this, so for that reason, definitely be wary if you're giving it to a really young kid. I think that rating of 16 plus though is appropriate. It is focusing around a spooky, mysterious village, remote village that maybe practices cannibalism, so there are going to be some spooky elements to it. But when I say I really don't handle horror very well, I really don't. I think it's very, very spooky, and I have trouble sleeping at night if I read something that's too spooky, but this was the right amount. It was spooky, it was off-putting, it kind of made the chills run up your spine, but for me, I could still handle it. Some of the scenes, you could tell when there was going to be maybe something a little gorier in the manga, so you could kind of skip through it if that was really disturbing for you as well, so you you could kind of get a sense when something was coming, but at the same time, the whole vibe of the village was really eerie, and I think that was what I was looking for. I wanted the spooky element without a lot of the horrific side of things, and I think that the author of this book did a really good job of doing it. So I really appreciated this. It scratched an itch that I was kind of having. I will probably continue the series. I will try to find volumes 2 and on, because I would love to see how this resolves. There was some interesting information that was revealed at the end of this volume, so I'm interested to see what comes of that. And as always, I want to see what the daughter's up to. I feel like the daughter's going to become an integral part of this story, especially because she doesn't speak, and I think that that could be an interesting twist in the plot. If you've read this series, please let me know what you thought, or if you've read this first one, please let me know what you thought. I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.